Hello, Teacher Tina here. Let's talk about your profile. Now, why is your profile so important as a VIPKid teacher? Whether you would like to admit it or not, it's how parents decide if you are worth paying money for. Sorry, that's true. So they are basically comparing you to other teachers to see which person they would like to book with. So what can you do to make sure that you stand out? What small changes can you make that will have the biggest impact on your bookings and your success building your business as a VIPKid teacher? Okay, so I've helped a lot of people with their profiles, and I have found that there are two things that seem to make the biggest difference, two parts of the profile that make the biggest difference on their bookings. It is the main profile picture and the video that they create for VIPKid. So we are going to talk about those things, and I don't know about you, but I like to get a lot of bang for my buck. So if I make a change, I want to know that I'm going to see a benefit on the other side. So that's why I chose very simple tips, but very helpful tips that will make a big difference. So let's get started. All right, let's talk about your main profile picture first. You've probably heard a lot of tips about this in the past, but I'm going to summarize mine in just two main points: color and lighting. All right, color. First of all, do you have to wear an orange shirt for your profile picture? No, you do not have to wear an orange shirt. A lot of teachers like to wear an orange shirt because it used to be a company requirement to wear orange. So some teachers think that it makes them look like they've been around the block longer if they're wearing an orange shirt. I don't have any scientific data to support that, but orange is a pretty cool color anyway, and it will kind of pop. So if you want to wear orange, go for it. Whatever color you choose, just make sure it's professional looking. You won't really see much of it, but you don't want it to be like patterned or anything. You want to keep it nice and clear so they can really focus on your face. All right, so the colors. Also, besides looking professional with your shirt, I highly recommend that you choose a colorful background. Why? Because it will make you stand out. Most VIPKid teachers choose a white or a gray background for their picture. So let's say that you choose blue. Wha-bam! You are going to get noticed faster by parents. The first thing they see is your photo, your main photo. So let's make it colorful, all right? So that is basically what I suggest for your colors. And in terms of lighting, that's my second point, right? Lighting. I cannot stress this enough. It is such an easy change, but it makes the biggest impact. Basically, natural lighting is the way to go. If you don't have good natural lighting in your classroom or in your house, I suggest that you go somewhere, get a colorful backdrop, maybe a poster board or something, sit outside, wherever you can get good lighting. It is so important. And just to show you how important it is, I'm going to show you two pictures that I took of myself. Now, these photos are kind of special to me, not because they're me, but because it's from when I got hired. And I was super excited, and I got my contract, but it was dark out, and I was like, I just really want to get my profile done, so I'm just going to take a picture and put it on there. And then I took the picture, and I thought, this lighting is terrible. I'm not going to get any attention from parents if I use this photo. So I went to bed, and the next morning, I took the picture. Now, you will see these pictures. They are almost identical, okay? The only difference is the lighting and about 12 hours of time. So basically, the wall that I used was the same. I just stood in front of that wall. I did my hair and makeup the exact same way. I used my webcam for both pictures, and I didn't use a filter in either of these photos. So let me just show you. This was the photo that I took at nighttime. You can see, okay? So kind of boring, not the best quality. And then I took one the next morning. Yeah, that made a big difference. The only difference is the lighting, okay? That is literally the only difference. And maybe that my hair was slightly askew, whatever. You can see that it makes a big difference. So I suggest waiting until the next day, even though you're excited if you're new, to get the lighting right. All right, and also, when it comes to that picture, you want to be sure that it is an accurate representation of what you look like. All right, I'm not saying that if you go, every time you go to the hairdresser, you need to get a new picture. No, just if there's a big change that might surprise a student. For example, If you like to change your hair up like me and you go from platinum blonde to black, you probably want to change your picture along with your hair. Otherwise, you might get your student a little bit distracted during class because you are not what they were expecting to see. So just a thought. Okay. So that is my tip. That is my advice to you about the picture itself. That is the first thing that parents see about you. Now, I'm going to give you a little analogy, so just bear with me. It's short. Let's imagine that, you're a VIPKid teacher and you really want to buy a new puppet. So you go on Amazon, you type in puppet, and you get thousands of results. If you're like me, you're not going to read every little description, right? You are going to look at pictures. So it's pretty much the same thing with parents. Of course, they don't really have the option to see your whole description right away, but they are just looking at pictures too. So that's why it's super important, because if they like your picture, they will click on to see more about you. They'll click on to see that puppet description, the extra pictures of the puppet. I'm sorry I called you a puppet. Please don't, take it too personally. But I think everyone can relate to that analogy. If the picture looks good, you're more inclined to look into the product a little bit more. All right, so that's your picture, and let's talk about your video. Whew. All right, so I actually asked a parent of one of my regular students through feedback what she looked for when she was looking for a new teacher, what she looked for in a profile in the video. And basically what she told me was that she wanted to see energy and that she wanted to see clear, slow speech. All right, now I'm sure not every parent is the same, but I think a lot of parents probably are on the same page as Lisa's mom, and they share that sentiment, okay? That's why it is very, very important that you speak slowly and clearly in your video. These are not native speakers watching your video. You are trying to sell it to non-native speakers, all right? So you want to be sure that you articulate every word. Keep the pace slow but engaging. Use some cadence to your speech. And also, kind of on the same note, one of my pet peeves that I advise people not to do is nice to meet you when they are doing their video. Now, in my video, I did say nice to meet you, but I didn't say meet you, because that's not a real word. And if I'm a parent and I'm looking for somebody to teach my child, I don't want to see somebody who is kind of talking in slang in what's supposed to be the best representation of that person. So I advise you, be very clear and slow in your speech. That will be make a very, very big impact on your video. Kind of on the same train of thought, some people like to get really techie and make a really cool video, and that's great. If you're one of those people, more power to you. But I recommend not only doing a voiceover. So some people like to, show different pictures of them in the classroom with their kids. They'll just kind of do a slideshow and they're voicing over it. Now, you can certainly do that for part of it, but I recommend that for at least some of your video, you are actually talking, because parents want to see how you are in terms of expressions. They would like to see, if you are engaging with your hands, if you're using TPR, if you're using props. Now, you don't need to use a million of those things, but you should at least try to use something. Give them an idea of what they can expect in your actual classroom, because if you're just showing pictures, okay, they can see pictures attached to your profile. They want to see you in motion. Kind of thinking about that same thing with motion. I suggest that you look right at the camera. You treat that camera like it is your student or your parent. Now, when I did my video, I was kind of ambiguous about it. I didn't say hello student or hello parent, because if you do that, if both of those people are watching, you're kind of not talking to that other person anymore, right? They're kind of going to shut you off. Oh, this isn't a video for me. I'm not interested. But if you kind of leave it ambiguous, then they both feel like you're talking to them. So I suggest that you keep your eye contact with that camera. Use the space as well, okay? So get up close, get a little further away so they can see your classroom. If you don't have your classroom together, that's okay. My classroom changed too. But they want to see you moving. They want to see your energy. Now, if you are not the most enthusiastic, jingle bells kind of person in the world, that's okay. because you will probably attract students who are like you. Like attracts like. So just be sure that you are still pleasant and happy and smiling, but if you're not a bells and whistles type of person, you don't need to be one in your video. It's kind of false advertising in my opinion. Whatever you show in your video is pretty much how you are setting up parents to expect to see you and students in your classroom, okay? That's another reason that I chose to keep my videos simple and I didn't use, any kind of technology. I did it all in one take. I tried it many times, but I did it all in one recording, was because I didn't plan on using, Manicam or some kind of funky technology in my classroom. That's just not who I am. I don't really jive with technology that much. I do it enough to do what I need to do. But for me, I kept it simple. I kept it with the props I like to use, with my energy, because that's who I am as a teacher. So if you plan on using Manicam, sure, use technology in your video. But if you are struggling to make a video with technology, maybe don't include technology because your student might expect you to use it in the classroom too. Yeah, and just one more thing. Never underestimate the power of your video. I have a real short little thing to share with you. So my student, Alisa, I have taught her for probably 6 months. She's one of my regulars. Love her to death. And before class started the other day, she was actually being recorded. Like, she was in the classroom early. I was too, but I didn't have my camera on, so I don't think she knew that I was paying attention. But anyway, she was wearing lipstick, which she doesn't usually do, and she was up close to the camera. She was tilting her head, and immediately I thought, I wonder where she got that strange habit from. And then I heard what she said. She said, "Hello, my name is Teacher Alisa." And she recited my entire video, but subbed out her name. So never underestimate the power of your video. Your kids are watching and they're excited to see how you teach. So I hope that this video has helped you spruce up your picture and your video so that you can get the bookings that you want and you can meet your Alisas very soon. Thank you so much. Good luck. Bye.